Hi everyone, welcome back to Once Upon a Melody, or welcome if you're new. I'm Melody, and today we're going to be going over the legal document that VCHA's KG and her guardian filed last Friday, December 6th, as of this recording. If you didn't know, I put a poll up on the community tab, so if you're not following what's going on over there, you should do that so that you can be a part of polls. I am a former paralegal / legal assistant, so I do have a background in law. And I thought it would be interesting for me to break this down for you guys today. Just as a side note, well, not a side note, it's actually a really important note. In the United States, you can't just go around suing people willy-nilly. You have to have some kind of proof on your side of the claims that you're making, or else the judge usually will just toss it out and they won't even consider it. But in this case, it has been filed. It seems like it's going to be going ahead and being considered. So we'll get into exactly what the allegations are against JYP Entertainment, the USA branch, exactly what KG and her guardian are alleging, because KG is still 17, so she cannot yet legally file a lawsuit on her own. Since she is a minor, she has to have an adult representative file it for and with her. So that's the preamble, what we're dealing with here. Those are the kind of the basics. Before we get into this, I want to issue a trigger warning that there will be discussions of, well, I will put it up on the screen what there will be discussions of exactly so that you guys know. And if this is going to trigger you in any way, I would suggest that you click off this video, go watch one of my Benny videos or something that's a little bit more happy as opposed to this one. If you don't feel like you can handle this right now, that's totally okay. Now, this lawsuit is 77 pages long. I don't plan on reading all 77 pages out loud to you guys, but I will leave a link down in the description below where you can find the full filing if you want to read it yourselves. If you want to read along with me, I will be putting it up here on the screen so that you guys can see the parts that I'm reading, just in case you want to go and check it out yourselves. I will leave a link down in the description below so that you can check that out. And while you're down there are some affiliate links, and my social media links are all down there too, so you guys can go ahead and check those out if you would like to either help this channel monetarily, or if you would like to just check me out on social media. I post a lot of behind the scenes stuff along with a bunch of cute photos of my cat, so go check that out too. Okay, so this is the legal document here this is just all the, jargon here about who it's from, where it's going, and what it's about. So KM, a minor by and through her guardian ad litem, Tracy Matter, that is confirmed to be KG. She confirmed that on her own Instagram. And Tracy Matter is the guardian that is representing her against JYPE USA Inc. So these are what they are alleging in this lawsuit and what they have proof in court to do so for: child labor exploitation, child neglect and abuse, contract claims, equitable relief, which just kind of is more of a catch-all for kind of everything else that they might be able to sue for in court. So the child labor exploitation they are alleging are violations of child labor laws, failure to pay a minimum wage, failure to provide breaks, failure to provide a safe work environment, wage theft, overtime violations, unjust enrichment, failure to maintain records, provide accurate wage. The child neglect and abuse part is intentional infliction of emotional distress, negligence, unfair business practice, child endangerment. Contract claims are breach of contract, fraud, and deception in the inducement. So that means basically that they're alleging that some kind of fraud and or deception was made in the contract itself. So some of this I already read in my other video, which I'll link somewhere. However, if I see anything new in this that I didn't see in the other one, I might inject my opinions into it. So just be aware of that. I'll let you guys know when something is my opinion. So this part here I kind of went over already in the other video. Basically, she's saying that JYP Entertainment employed a dance teacher who would yell at plaintiff KG in the Korean language, which she did not speak, and treat her harshly, and forced her to perform several times until she tore a tendon in her shoulder, and didn't allow her water or food breaks. And it says here that is a violation of California social norms, regulations, and laws. This part here, I like, they say, hold on, it gets worse. So this part, parties, this is going over who they are alleging are doing these things. So JYP USA Inc., as they are a leading company and respected company as the leader in entertainment, and that it abides by the law, morality, and social norms by managing the business transparently. These are quotes from their own website. So again, they're saying, these are things that not only are against the law in California, but are against their own business practices. I think just kind of reading over this a little bit that I already have, they seem to have a really strong case against JYP, and that is good for KG and the other members, in my opinion. All of this, is proven in court to be true. So this part here is kind of important. Point 6, under parties. Plaintiff is ignorant of the true names and capacities of defendants sued herein, and they're going to use fictitious names in the lawsuit, basically just saying that the plaintiff, KG, didn't know these people's names at the time that the lawsuit was filed. So they're going to be using fake names, just as placeholders, basically, until they find out what the real names are, because they do have to do that for the court to be able to go after them. They do have to get the actual names of these people. This is the juicy part, the factual allegations. They titled all of these separately, and damn, these titles hit hard. So this is part 1, the contract to buy a child. Basically, you can't get away with this kind of stuff in California because of Hollywood and the history there. They have very, very strict laws when it comes to minors. Could always be more strict, but they probably have the strictest ones in the whole US. Point number 10 says, on or about January 2023, KG, a then 15-year-old aspiring artist, entered a contract with JYPE USA Inc., part of the international K-pop powerhouse JYPE Entertainment, otherwise known as the agreement, and a copy of it is included. The agreement promises opportunities for stardom, training, and artistic development in accordance with the standards set by California laws and in accordance with the standards set by SAG-AFTRA and local unions. And then they're saying that the things set forth in the contract were broken by constant physical, emotional, and mental abuse. Basically that they were imposing strict schedules on her personal life and freedom, and that they were not paying her an acceptable hourly wage by California laws. I think when I did the math, it was under $6 an hour. It's also saying that she accrued debts. Point 13 here says JYPE's recouping of KG's promised income did not stop there. In another buried 21 term, JYPE made expenses paid for the group living facility, including rent, which it controlled, recoupable against KG's other entertainment income promised by the agreement. So JYPE rented out a $2.5 million home and then charged the members for that, and that she felt like she couldn't refuse. So this part here is important. We went over this a little bit in the last video too, but so it says that JYPE petitioned to have the contract approved. In his petitions, JYPE made at least 2 significant misrepresentations to KG and the court. So JYPE promised there would be no filming at the group residence, but there was a hidden camera filming at the group residence, and JYPE promised it would comply with California labor laws, and it did not, and is a threat that KG faces today, preventing her from practicing her trade or developing her career. So this part here is basically saying, but KG actually didn't have proper representation in those cases, and therefore she was unaware of what the outcome of those decisions were to a full extent. JYP Entertainment was employing and controlling KG during the time the petitions regarding the agreement were being decided. On information and belief, JYP Entertainment will argue that the agreement did not come into effect until January 2024, but prior to that date, JYP Entertainment was already forcing KG to work 12-plus hour days, and she was working pursuant to a California work permit. So that's just basically saying that because KG was still under contract with JYP Entertainment during the time of the other petitions, she was working under a contract with them, so she really didn't have proper representation, like I said. Line 6 here says she recalls several times she was forced to sign contracts while being given only a few minutes to review them, including contracts that were in the Korean language. So basically, she didn't have time to properly review the contracts. There was no representative present for her, or possibly the other members as well, and that the contracts were not even in English, and she didn't speak or know how to read Korean. Part 2 is titled The Employment to Use a Child. So in this part, they are citing a Koreaboo article titled JYP Entertainment Manager Shades Companies Promising to Protect VCHA Minor Controversial Member Kaylee. Daniel Hong, tasked with managing VCHA, the K-pop group that KG was a part of, stated to the press that the company strictly followed regulations set by California regarding minors working in the entertainment industry. In the context of describing regulations on working hours, education, and guardian presence, he is quoted as saying, "That rule has been put together and followed until today, and it'll be followed until later." He promised the public there are concerns regarding quality because we're competing with other groups that are not necessarily following the same guidelines like we do, but it is something that we really can't cross. We're not going to cross that line. So the article they were referring to actually came out last October. So it goes on to say, but that was far from the truth. By that time, the line had already been crossed. Notably, at that point in October 2023, while Daniel Hong was describing compliance with child labor laws to the public, JYPE was treating KG as a trainee unprotected by California labor laws. While employment was ongoing on information and belief, JYPE did not view the parties' employment agreement as being in force and in effect. If it was not in force and in effect, then JYPE was employing a minor without a valid employment contract. Basically, this part is saying that under the law, JYP Entertainment was treating the members as trainees and not employees. So almost sort of like an intern, basically. And you're not allowed to employ a minor in any way in California without a valid employment contract. This is when they get into the eating part here. It says basic nourishment was withheld as a matter of company policy. KG and her group mates were pressured to maintain an extreme and unhealthy thinness. Before televised appearances, KG was told by JYPE staff that she would, quote unquote, regret how she looked if she failed to lose weight. Meals were restricted to small salads, and on multiple occasions, KG was denied rest and encouraged not to eat. KG was told that she was only allowed to eat at JYPE headquarters and should refrain from eating at the hotel where she was residing. On one occasion, after hours of physical training, the staff told KG and the other girls that they didn't need to eat, sending them directly to another rehearsal without a meal. On that occasion, due to JYPE staff showing up late to a morning evaluation, KG was denied her required lunch and rest break and forced to attend her afternoon 4-hour dance rehearsal with no rest or nourishment. Another time, a staff member walked the girls to the car after training, reminding the 4 girls don't eat as he slammed the car door shut. These are things that we kind of already knew about JYP Entertainment. There's been at least 2 incidences that I can remember hearing about. The first one is when Momo was told to lose weight before Twice debuted.
그러니까 7kg를 그러니까 무조건 빼야 된대. 빼야 그 쇼케이스를 쓸 수 있대. 그래가지고 근데 7kg 다시 찌면 어떡해? 쪄버렸지. 근데 그때까지 쇼케이스까지 해야 돼. 날짜가 있었어. 그 날짜가 있었는데 그 날짜까지 진짜 안 먹고 아무것도 안 먹고 헬스장 이렇게 다니고 그리고 진짜 이건 무슨 말하는 건가? 뭐?
아 괜찮아 제가 그런 얘기 많이 했었어.
아 그래?
나는
막 진짜 침도 뱉고 진짜 했어 진짜 진짜 몸 안에 있는 거 다
수분을 다
없었어 진짜. 그리고 진짜 침대 누워 있는 이렇게 침대에 있고 자려고 하잖아. 뭔가 못 일어날 것 같아서 무서워서 눈물이 나는 거야 갑자기.
그치. 일주일 동안 아예 안 먹었어?
진짜 얼음 하나 이런 거. 진짜 얼음 하나. 근데 이거 먹어도 진짜.
And then there's also Bangchan of Stray Kids, who has admitted to giving other girl groups that they were training with his food vouchers.
어떤 상황이었어요? 아 연습생 때인가 보네. 아 연습생 때.
삼겹살을 먹고 싶어 했던 거예요. 그게 안 되다 보니까
네.
제 식판을 아예 그냥 다 줬었던 기억이 있어요.
아 그러면 혼났을 때는 바로 트와이스를 불었다고 얘기 나오는데.
그래요?
아 그렇게 안 했어요? 바로 그거 참았어요?
그냥 죄송해도 제가 너무 많이 먹었다고 그래.
미나 다이어트 완전 심하게 했잖아.
미나 언니도
우리
했지.
나랑 같이 했어.
우리 그 줬잖아.
나도 안 가면은
나중에 생각하니까 너무 서러운 거야.
맞아. 다이어트 해야 되는 사람은 식권을 맞아.
아예 안 줬지.
그래서 가끔 완전 몰래 가가지고 안 하고.
애들 거 그냥 옆에서 뺏어 먹고.
맞아. 애들 애들 몇 개 먹은 거잖아.
맞아. 그러다 걸렸잖아. 많이 가져가다가 걸렸어.
다 걸렸어.
그러면서 카드 그게 이렇게 많이 먹냐고. 카드 그거 생겼잖아.
맞아.
맞아.
카드 생겼지. 맞아.
우리 실컷 막 종이채로 가져가서 막 삼겹살.
So we already knew that that was an ongoing issue with JYP Entertainment, not specifically the US branch, but in Korea. So the third part here is titled The Toll to Break a Child. So it says, on or around September 14th, 2023, during a dance rehearsal, KG was singled out by a dance instructor for her lack of formal dance training. This is going over the fact that she tore a tendon in her shoulder, and she was also forced to hold positions that were severely uncomfortable and painful. And it says here in line in point 30, this was not an isolated incident throughout her time at JYP Entertainment. KG and other members of VCHA were repeatedly forced to dance and perform with severe injuries, including sprained ankles, strained muscles, and other conditions. KG's doctors recommended rest, but JYPE ignored these recommendations, insisting she continue performing at full capacity. During one evaluation, KG's leg injury was severe and she asked staff if she could take it easy. She was told no. JYPE staff continued to get her multiple injections while she was expected to keep performing. That is a point that cannot just be passed over. KG saw a doctor. The doctor said her muscles were damaged from overuse and she needed to rest. She asked JYPE to allow her to rest, but they still forced her to dance for 12 hours a day. Figure 1 below is a true and correct screenshot of a text message conversation between KG and another member of VCHA on November 27th, 2023, with redactions to preserve that member's identity. Yellow bubbles are KG's and the other messages are the dark charcoal ones. And it says here, I guess they want me to worsen my health, 3 skull emojis. And then the other member says, we don't want it to get worse. It's getting worse because the doctor said not to do physical activity and you are. And then they also responded, going to the doctor tomorrow is going to be them telling you the same thing and them not letting you do that. So good thing she kept her text messages because those are always very helpful in legal cases, especially like this. So this next part here, we already went over that JYP Entertainment's child welfare worker, Eric Winston, was constantly absent from training and rehearsal sessions and basically kind of made ignorant to any of the alleged abuse that was going on. And then it also says that they went through 2 other child welfare workers before this. Basically that their mental health wasn't all that great during all of this. So these ones here, I'll read them out. From another member, it says, I think it starts here on the right. So the other member says, like, actually I'm drained. And then KG says, I have no motivation. The other member says, I feel the same way. I'm like empty and I don't know what to do with my life. And then KG says, I'm not happy. The other member says, I'm not happy either. This is not enjoyable. This is not okay. KG says, I haven't felt happy in over years because of this. The other member says, same since Korea. KG says, yeah, the other member says Korea was so bad, but this is as bad. KG said, honestly, I feel like I don't even have a personality anymore or in my own person. They changed me and I lost all my good. The other member says, they did, all of us. I'm not confident at all. I've lost myself completely. And then KG said, me too, and my family noticed. So this next part goes over that they were struggling mentally. This is when we get the self mentions that another member in KG found them the next morning vomiting uncontrollably, and basically that this was kept from child welfare worker Eric Winston and other staff. And that other staff instructed KG and other members to lie to the child welfare worker and say that the member was suffering from food poisoning, which is 100% horrible. Horrible, horrible thing to do. Also goes on to say that KG was frequently the target of verbal and emotional abuse by JYPE staff. On her birthday during a critical rehearsal, a dance instructor publicly humiliated KG in front of her group mates, stating to the translator that KG was a terrible dancer who should never have been given the opportunity to debut. This harsh critique was delivered in a group setting, causing one of the girls to run out of the room crying. This form of abuse was common, designed to get KG to train harder. And then this next part here goes over that they had cameras in the house and cameras around the food to monitor their eating habits. And then it goes on to say here that the company controlled KG's everyday life, including her one day off each week, requiring her to submit plans for her day off in advance for approval, including who KG was allowed to hang out with and where she was allowed to go. JYPE staff expected reports of where KG was on her off day and subjected her to a curfew. In effect, JYPE was exerting control over KG on her day off, making it an additional day of uncompensated employment. And then part 4 is called The Artful Dodge to Profit at a Child's Expense. This goes over all of the financial information, including what type of publications they appeared in, how much money was expected to be earned from the different concerts that they appeared at, because remember, they did open for twice at several different concerts. So this part here says that JYPE has profited and continues to profit from the use of KG's name and likeness, but has failed to account for those profits to KG and fraudulently claimed that KG was indebted to JYPE under the terms of the agreement. Before instigating this lawsuit, KG reached out to JYP Entertainment and was informed that she would be held to the agreement and told she could not perform or use her likeness pursuant to the following unconscionable terms. Clause that gives full control of her social media accounts and prevents her from using personal social media accounts, and again requires obedience to JYPE policies regarding social media. A clause that gives JYPE the exclusive right to use KG's name, likeness, voice, and biographical material, including the exclusive rights to advertise, publicize, and promote her in all media formats. Basically, she can't use her own self-image or her voice or her own life story on her own terms. Like, it all belongs to JYP Entertainment. And under this clause, KG is required to get JYPE's consent before getting her hair cut or making any changes to her appearance. These next points here are going over the laws and the ones that they are saying JYP Entertainment broke. So including working over 48 hours in a week or after 10 p.m. on any day preceding a school day. I want to get to the parts of this that have the actual attached proof. That's the part I want to see. So the exhibits here, this is what I want to see. This looks like her contract that she signed. I mean, in my opinion, this is definitely a kind of a standard contract for K-pop companies, but not something that a 17-year-old would be able to discern on her own without an adult present. So if they had her sign any of this on her own accord, and like she didn't have proper time to read through it and didn't have the opportunity to go through it with a guardian, then that's extremely wrong. That's one of the things that she's alleging. Basically, we can see here as well, like how other groups such as Rise get away with firing members when they do something that is socially against social norms, right? Or anything that is bringing scandal to the company or the group. That's how they get away with that, is they write it in these contracts. So that is the end of that court document. I hope I explained as much of it as I could to you guys. There's a lot of really boring stuff in these things. But basically, everything that we went over in the last video is in here. And there's a lot of they seem to have a lot of proof, and it looks like they might even have other group members or other employees brought in to testify. This part here is interesting. It says they are demanding a jury trial, so they don't want to go just before a judge. They also want to make sure that a jury is involved. I want to go over a few of these other articles. So they released this statement on the 8th. That was 2 days ago from the time I'm recording this. So this is an article that comes from koreaboo.com. JYP Entertainment releases statement addressing ex-VCHA KG's lawsuit and abuse claims. So they're claiming that KG's representatives did not respond to attempts for a resolution. They probably want to settle this outside of court, I'm guessing. So they released this statement this past Sunday, December 8th. And claimed that KG left the group's residence in May. And that JYP Entertainment tried to resolve this outside of court. So the statement says, "Dear all, this is JYP USA. We would like to address the recent lawsuit filed by Kiara Grace Matter, hereafter referred to as KG, and her public statements on social media. In May of this year, KG left group residence and initiated discussions through her legal representatives. In response, we temporarily suspended VCHA's planned activities and engaged in extensive discussions with KG's representatives to explore potential resolutions." So we finally have an answer as to why they were on hiatus and not seen since May. It's because KG left and was starting a, I don't want to say legal battle, but was initiating a legal dispute with JYP Entertainment. So that's why they went completely radio silent. I can understand why they didn't go public with this information, because they, probably didn't want to compromise the lawsuit in any way. But I feel like also staying completely silent was not the right move, because that just left so much room for speculation, where JYP Entertainment could have just said, like, we are working through some things right now with the members, and please give us time and patience. And that would have kind of soothed everyone for a little while. So it says, "We deeply regret KG's decision to file a lawsuit and make unilateral public statements containing false and exaggerated claims. This action has caused significant harm to the other members of VCHA and JYP USA, who have been working diligently on their upcoming album and projects for early 2025. JYP USA will take all necessary measures to ensure that neither the other members of VCHA nor JYP USA suffer further harm as a result of this matter." That is JYP's statement for all of this. Of course, they're going to refute the claims, right? They're not going to say, like, "Oh yeah, we did that. We abused her." Like, that's not something that they're going to admit. I also wanted to read over this article here with KG's response to JYP Entertainment's statement. Gives the same content warning that I gave at the beginning of this video, but just in case you're not aware, there it is. This just kind of goes over what she had already said in her Instagram statement, and then JYP's statement, and then her response. So it says, "KG expressed her disappointment in JYP USA's lack of accountability. She emphasized that she and her legal team are prepared to back her claims with evidence. She strives to fight not just for her VCHA members, but also for all K-pop idols and trainees seeking better treatment." She said, "I am very disappointed in the company's lack of accountability. My legal team and I are fully prepared with photographic evidence and physical evidence to prove my allegations are factual, not exaggerated or false, as they claimed in their statement." She goes on to say, "Thank you to the public for your unwavering support. Please treat both sides with kindness, as this is a difficult time for everyone. I will continue to fight for better treatment of K-pop idols and trainees, in which I promise to speak nothing but the truth. I hope by coming forward, other trainees, idols, and group members can be encouraged to use their voice in order to make positive changes in the K-pop industry." That is a very sweet response from her. I think what she's doing is very brave, in my personal opinion. As a 17-year-old, I don't know if I would have been able to do something like that. So she's, certainly a very brave woman, and I wish her all the best luck in the world going forward with this. I will be interested to see what kind of filing they do in response to KG's lawsuit. If you guys want to see me go over that and kind of give a rundown on that as well, that's a little bit easier to understand, please let me know. So from what we've seen, the proof that they included were text messages with other members and copies of the contracts. So I will be interested to see what happens there. I think that the text messages with the other members are probably going to be the most important pieces of information here, because those are stored independently from a person who owns the phone. Those are stored by the phone companies. So the way that they can prove that those messages are real is to get to request the message log from the phone company directly. And I think that's probably going to be the most damning information towards JYP Entertainment, because that's directly from the members themselves. And if they're able to get any other witnesses in on this, I don't know if they're going to be able to get them to testify against JYP Entertainment, but I will be very interested to see what happens next. So let me know your guys' thoughts down below, what your plans are going forward with JYP artists, and if you have any, and what your thoughts are on this whole lawsuit. I'm definitely going to be following it when any other information comes out. Let me know if you guys want further videos on it, and give this video a like if you liked it today. Don't forget to also hit that subscribe button down below if you're new around here. Usually I don't review legal documents, but I've talked about VCHA in the past a lot, so I wanted to follow up with this and see what was going on, and kind of wrap my head around it and help you guys wrap your heads around it too. So let me know if this was helpful at all to you. And usually the videos they make are a little bit more lighthearted than this, at least from a legal standpoint. If you want to check out some of my other videos, I'll have a playlist at the end of this video so that you can check out what normally my content is more about. And but yeah, I would love to have you here if you want to stick around. Don't forget to, as always, drink some water, take your medicine, and eat something today if you haven't done those 3 things yet. And I will see you all in my next video. Bye.